Redefining the gallery. Gallery. Noun. A room, series of rooms, and/or building devoted to the exhibition and sale of works of art. Or, the general public, especially when regarded as having popular or unpopular taste. And/or, any group of spectators or observers at a sports event, congressional hearing, play, entertainment event, etc. These are good yet loose definitions. The idea of a gallery is deeply rooted in our ancestral and societal past. Humanity has presented works of art since the dawn of time. The most well-known examples of the first human art found are the Paleolithic cave sites in Altamira and Lascaux, northern Spain and southwestern France. These are mostly naturalistic images of animals and enigmatic symbols painted on limestone, most likely depicting anthropomorphic gods and goddesses of the time. These cave sites may very well be the first galleries in human history. Now let's take a jump ahead and look at more classical and modern interpretations of the gallery. When we look at Western culture specifically, the 15th centuries or the Middle Ages, these are prime examples of how art and culture was exhibited. Historically, art was presented as a way to flaunt the power and wealth of the aristocracy. And from a religious perspective, it was presented as a form of ritual and/or shrine to honor the liturgy of Western and Eastern mythologies. Art was seen as sacred, artisan, and even associated with divine intervention. It was a way of life and a way to build a nation, a legacy, and a canon of story and myth. It would be a stretch to think that the artists of our Paleolithic, religious, and aristocratic past were exhibiting these works in terms of what we call a gallery today. You could say the idea of a room, series of rooms, or a building devoted to the exhibition and sale of works of art didn't come until the early 20th century. Images of elite aristocrats, politicians, and crimson painted rooms and old masterworks installed salon style come to mind. You could say this is the most classical and romantic idea of a gallery, yet far from what we see today. The idea of the modern gallery didn't give rise until the post-war era. The mid to late 20th century, this is the onset of the most famous and/or infamous era of art, depending on how one views it. The art movements of 1950 to present, we will define as contemporary art. This is the area of art Haven is most concerned with when we talk about redefining the gallery. If we wish to take an approach on understanding how the modern gallery works, we must look at the type of galleries and movements that have come out of this era. One always runs into the risk of excluding certain artists, movements, and subcultures when attempting to comment on the vast canon of art history. So for the sake of entertaining new ways of redefining the gallery, we will focus on the conceptual ideas of what it means to exhibit art in a given space, as well as broader cultural movements that have come out of the post-war era. Before we talk about the curatorial practice of galleries, it would be silly not to speak upon the capitalistic nature of the art world. Art is a product, art is an investment, and art is a status symbol that intimates wealth and prestige, especially for individuals who have the privilege and access to the art world in ways underprivileged communities do not. There is nothing explicitly wrong with this, yet we must not overlook the influence and importance of how the commercialization of art has influenced the modern gallery. The way in which galleries and art dealers participate in the commercialization of an artist's work is fundamental to the way in which the art world sustains itself financially. Even though this may be the case, it is always the case that the commercialization of the art world has stifled and made shallow many communities that participate in the art world. This is what can be called the decor-based market. a term coined by multidisciplinary artist A.A. The decor-based market is an area of art that is centered toward the uneducated homeowner, designer, and/or property owner that only sees art as a way to fit a given space aesthetically and as a means to flaunt their wealth. On the contrary, there are art dealers and collectors who not only have good taste but are educated on the work of their artist and possess a deep passion for the work and how it can be influenced in the zeitgeist of the art world. They hold a love for not only the production of art and the artists who produce it, but the narrative and value it brings to the broader culture at large. These are the communities and individuals Haven is most concerned with. Those who value art as an experience to be had rather than just an object to consume as a status symbol or investment. The selling of art is important. It is vital to the sustainability of an artist's life and career. Yet clearly this isn't the only reason an artist would want to exhibit a body of work. That desire comes from what is inherently inside us all, a need to communicate through human expression. This may very well be the two major factors in how the modern art world has evolved. The clash between the financial and emotional aspects of being a modern artist. The need to sustain a market and the need to nurture one's spirit and intellectual thought. They go hand in hand, yet in most cases, some are motivated by one or the other. I say this to say that the art world, just like the rest of the world, has been increasingly challenged with finding new ways of coping with the pressure of the post-industrial world and finding ways we can spiritually heal from it. This is the beauty of the idea of participating in novel creative spaces. Novel experiences open into being whatever it needs to be in a given situation. When we hold the desire to fully engage with what we are doing, not only for the sake of sustaining the wealth of our operations, but for looking to find new ways in which the Spirit can work within them, this is achieved when we possess an open perspective, temperament, and our way of being that transforms our communities through time and space. This is the spirit of cultural engagement, a way of life that focuses in novelty in the way that we present ourselves day to day. It is what is missing in the areas of the art world that are stagnant and merely concerned with the formal way in which a gallery is operated. One of the biggest influences in the way a modern gallery is operated today is Sir Leo Castelli, the famous art dealer of the post-war era. His keen eye and dedication to the works of artists such as Kooning, Pollock, Rothko, and Klein, as well as many others, of course, is directly linked to how we view the modern gallery today. He created a new culture of collectors and generated authentic attention to the buying and selling of not only contemporary art, but conceptual and politically engaging conversations on how the art world was evolving into new areas and movements. His influence has no doubt given us new perspective on what contemporary art could achieve, what it was intended for beyond the simple buying and selling of work. In fact, he fits the temperament of what we can just be described as a man who is interested in the vanguard of the artist and his work, not just the selling of their work for the sake of profit. He answered very bluntly in his interview titled About the Arts, Leo Castelli, 1976. Do you yourself see yourself as a dealer? Well, yes, I am more than somebody who just wants to sell paintings. The selling of paintings seems to be secondary. I have to, of course, sell them to finance my activity, but the activity really is the most important game. The activity is the key. The process is the key in which the gallery can be redefined. It is no longer just a place in which art is exhibited and sold, but a place where it is practiced and wrestled with. This is what must come first. The engagement with ideas of philosophy, spirituality, politics, and conceptuality. It is to possess an animistic view of the modern world, which is to see the spirit in the industrial spaces, and using that vision to gain further connection to our past. Time and space are universal realities we stand up against, and that is exactly what is wrestled with when we engage in the practice of curation. We are engaging in how work from the present can inform, or rather open windows into ways in which we can heal ourselves from the nightmare of modernity. The process of engaging with environments in novel ways is the path toward real change in the world. It is the way in which unconventional exhibitions and avant-garde engagements can shine light on the end of history. Haven strives to keep boundaries wide open and keep the conversation active on what can come out of the spirit of engaging with the unknown, as well as engaging with the practice of art within itself. Redefining the gallery is not merely about crafting new ways in which markets can thrive, or how artists can sustain themselves, but it is also about curating experiences that shine light and clarity on how we commune for art in the first place. We ache for answers, we ache for purpose, and the only way we can will and obtain those things in which this world is by nurturing environments that answer our aching questions and provide us with purpose to our collective ennui.